मैं खाली एक ही सर, 1 मिनट खाली प्लीज सर, परमिशन. हाँ. सो माय डियर फ्रेंड, आज मैं आपके सामने जो आप खड़ा देख रहे, खड़ा हूँ, एक ही लाइन में खाली बता देता हूँ, वो बिकॉज ऑफ सर. अगर सर नहीं रहते थे शायद आज आप मुझे नहीं देख पाते थे. ये मेरे लिए क्या है, ये एक ही लाइन के अंदर आपको बता देता हूँ. डॉक्टर साहब मेरे लिए क्या है, मेरे लिए भगवान के जैसे अवधा है. इसके लिए मैंने आते ही उनके पाँव छुए. दैट्स ऑल. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
All right. Thank you so much, our dear directors, and welcome, sir. We'll just wait for the mic to get set up. So have a seat. Great. Welcome, sir. Welcome. The entire Wellness Forever family welcomes you. A little about Dr. Oak, and I think this page is not sufficient, to cover up whatever achievements that Dr. Oak has ever had. But I'll read out certain achievements and important landmarks that he has achieved and which he is going to share with us today. So Dr. Sanjay Oak is a renowned pediatric surgeon with a distinguished career of over 37 years in medicine, leadership, academia, and nearly 18 years in the healthcare administration. Dr. Sanjay an inspiring leader, and a thought-provoking speaker. Dr. Oak has also held prestigious offices as the Dean of the esteemed St. G.S. Medical College and King Edward Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, the Director of Medical Education and major hospitals for medical colleges and hospitals under the Municipal Corporation of Mumbai. He is also the Vice Chancellor of University of Padma Shri, Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Navi Mumbai, the CEO of Prince Ali Khan Hospital, Mumbai, and Aga Khan Health Services in India, and is also currently the Director of Professional Services and Project Management at Kaushalya Hospital, Thane, Ushakal Abhinav Institute of Medical Sciences, Sangli, and SVKM Shirpur Hospital. His accomplishments extend beyond medicine. As a columnist and a prolific writer in English and Marathi, with over 51 books written by him and keenly read column in the Sunday Lok Satta for over 7 years. He is known for his eloquence, charisma, and his ability to inspire a lot of people. He effortlessly blends life lessons, medical wisdom, and leadership experiences to inspire audiences. Now, without any more delay, can I please call our dear directors to welcome Dr. Oak, and felicitate him with a bouquet. Please, can we have a round of applause, please? Let's keep the applause continuing.
Very proud to be very nice.
So can we start this ceremony by also welcoming and with a small Dhanvantri Puja and by lighting the Samay? Can we please look towards this side? Can I also please call forward Sudhakar sir to please come here and help us with the puja as well? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. With this note of an auspicious start, I would request you to please talk about very interesting topic that we have decided for the day is Dare the AI and Care for Humanity. Please, can we have a round of applause for Dr. O? All over to you, sir.
Yeah, we can switch off the audience. Like this is going to be informally formal or formally informal. So when Ashish came to me about a week ago and briefed me that, sir, as teaching activity, let's start something new. Life Unlimited. All of us belong to different spheres of activity related to health sector, and each one of us is important. There's a wonderful saying that two pairs of hands make all the progress in medicine. One pair of hands makes instruments and drugs. Second pair of hands uses them. So it's not that I'm important and you are less important or something. No, nothing of that sort. Each one of us is equally important. Wellness has a deep place in my heart. Because when wellness was not there, there was a Parel chemist. My mind goes back to 1986 when I joined Mumbai on 8th of August. Not many days, it's 8th of August is fast approaching. That was my first day as a junior houseman in pediatric surgery in KM Hospital. And I was coming from outskirts of Maharashtra. I had done my MBBS and MS from Mirrors Medical College. So Mumbaikars royally treated me as Gawala, made all fun of me. We had also seen such colors and such girls with minis and middies for the first time in our life. But then 30 years down the line, I became the director and chief of that institute. So I think Parel Chemists existed just across the road, round the corner, when I first met Mohan, and then subsequently Gulshan and the big boss. And then the concept of wellness, then the symbiotic association of Municipal Corporation of Greater Mumbai and Parel Chemist and wellness eventually, and now setting up newer hospitals. I think life has come truly an unlimited manner for a small boy like me who came from a completely non-medical family background, struggling my own ways without any forefathers in medicine, but a godmother in the name of Dr. Mrs. Snehalata Deshmukh, my teacher, who made my career eventually. So when Ashish Sharma came to me and said, "Sir, this is going to be an inaugural talk," I said, "Let's do Dhanvantari Pujan. With your three bosses, I don't know whether to call them Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, or Amar, Akbar, Anthony, whatever you may decide." This was always a problem as to which god I should choose. But then Dhanvantari is the god for all of us across religions and faiths in India. When I was writing a column and subsequently a book that I wrote, I went back to Sushrut Samhita and Charak Samhita, which has been scripted about 5,000 years ago. And there comes a shloka which says, "Sagarat sanjataha yah aushadinam adhipatihi devanam savaidya rajaha tasmai dhanvantaraye namah." See, when the sea was being churned, that Kshir Sagar was being churned, came 9 exclusively great artifacts. One of them, which followed goddess Lakshmi, is Dhanvantari. How beautifully the scriptures had written. You get Lakshmi, but something that must follow is health. Otherwise, it's pointless. And that is how this followed. Now, if you look at the murti, Mohan asked me, "Sir, is that a proper murti?" Because there are various versions of this particular god. There are 4 arms. In one arm is a chakra. Chakra is an eternal source of energy. See, over the years, medicine and surgery have used different types of energies. In the Ashma Yuga, something over here, we used to rub 2 stones, create a spark and heat, and that was applied to a bleeding vessel to stop the bleeding. That is how it started. We then moved to an electrical diathermy, to a chemical application of a diathermy agent, to an ultrasound energy, to a phacoemulsification, to a laser, to an electrowave shortwave lithotripsy. We only changed the forms of energy, but the chakra remained constant. The second hand holds what is called in Marathi Jalu, in Sanskrit Jalaud. Bloodletting was a very known modality of treatment. Whenever there is septicemia, whenever there is poisoning, these leeches were applied and they would suck the infected, impure blood. Today, what we do, hemodialysis, is the same principle, that the impure, infected, toxic material carrying blood is thrown out of the body and pure blood is circulated back into the body. And 786 Ayurvedic plants which have medicinal values. I think Indian traditional pharmacopoeia is rich of traditional herbs and medicines, which are represented in the third hand. And the fourth one had that nectar, the Amrita Kumbha, which was required by gods as well as demons. So here is a god that embodies the principles of healthcare, that signatures the progress of medicine which has happened all throughout the years. And therefore, it is most befitting that we begin this monthly news series as it has been planned for you by doing a proper pujan of Dhanvantari. Well, that brings me to my today's talk. This picture is quite familiar to us. When we were in our fifth standard, we were taught the left side picture. In Marathi, it was called as Manavachi Utkranti, Darwin's principles. And that confirmed that our forefathers were apes, and therefore we'll still continue monkeying around even today. But then by the time I came to medical college, this changed into the new one. That yes, you stood up from a crouching position. You had machine tools in your hand in place of wooden and iron instruments. And the next step, that you were again sitting down and crouching in front of a machine, which also changed in its generations to become as small as a pocket phone. And that's the evolution of the modern man. So there was wisdom in every wonder. Man felt every new thing as a wonder. When he first invented a circular wheel that could be rotated and moved ahead, he felt it is wonder. Today, it's a part of life for us. So Socrates very rightly said, wisdom begins in wonder. But he rightly uses the word wisdom and not intelligence. And the two things are different, because today I'm going to speak much on the intelligence artificially incultivated in all of us. But I am going to remind you again and again that when we acquire intelligence, we will not let go wisdom. That is the most important essence of today's talk. There's a story behind this slide. As you can see on the left-hand side, there is an assembly line. This used to be the picture of any industry when it started with Henry Ford. When the Model T was being made as an automobile, for the first time designed assembly lines like this, when the entire project was broken down into tasks, and the tasks were assigned to specific people, and then people do it in rows. This was somewhere around 1930s. Came around 60s, 70s, and slowly this particular line got replaced by a small machine. That's all that we know of AutoCAD and various types of designing modules available today in our tiny computers. What's the future? An industry appointed where there used to be a barrage of people, a laptop to do the work, a human being to make sure that a computer is not making a mistake, and a ferocious Rottweiler to confirm that the man does not touch the computer at all. That's the scenario today of our work profiles. Any industry, whether it is health sector, pharma, drug making, or anything, has several components. We have an industry which is making, we have machines and tools, we have human resource, which is the most difficult part of management, and we have machine tools, humans, and technology being integrated. So for a manager or a proprietor, it's always a confusing game as to how to strike the right balance. The scene is evolving. It is at times a frightening scene. But can we tie a blindfold on our eyes like Draupadi and I say that, oh, the reality just does not exist? It cannot be done. Denial is not an option. Prudent acceptance is the key. Prudent is a legal word. Prudent means wise. We have to accept that things are going to change. In fact, when we were coming up, Gulshan said me, sir, give one-liners. One of the most important one-liner that each one of you must have in your mind is change is the only constant thing in life. I learned my surgery, pediatric surgery, in 1987 in KEM Hospital. My last operation I have done today morning at 7 a.m. when I operated a 1-month-old child in Kaushalya. But the way I operate today is not the technique that I learned in 1987, but something that evolved in 2005. So if I don't change, I will be made obsolete. Patients will not come to me. So second one-liner is working industry has to be like a bicycle. If you stop pedaling, you fall. So therefore, prudence acceptance is the key. And this last point I learned from the great scientist Padma Vibhushan Mashelkar. And he elaborated that to me. He said, Sanjay, this is Mahatma Gandhian principle. Do the greater good from lesser investments. This is something like a Mahatma Gandhi saying to us. It's a vast country. Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, Aurangabad is nothing. You have to go up to Gadhingalas, Gadchiroli, and so many other things. When I led Maharashtra State COVID Task Force in last 3 years, this is what we pursue. That the messages and healthcare has to go into the interiors and supra-tertiary levels of Tier 3 cities. When she told about my current work profile, when I act as a project management consultant, people approach me that, sir, we have funds. This is our idea, build a hospital for us. And then it starts from a drawing board, and finally it comes into a building and the processes that we set up. So Tier 1 city was Thane, when the new wing of Kaushalya Hospital, which is just 2 kilometers away from the spot where we are in, was constructed and amalgamated into the old one. When something changes, it's not just the brick and mortar. It is the work, thoughts, the principles, and the execution. So when Parel Chem is changed into wellness, or when nursing home practice changes into Ushakka Labhinov Institute of Medical Sciences, it's just not the brick and mortar, but it is the way we execute our concepts and healthcare. That is what matters. So therefore, we must feel that we'll make prudent investments. Nobody has unsurmountable money to put into it. We have limited money. And we should execute in such a manner that we will reach far and wide. So we will invest less for greater good and we will get still greater returns. That has to be the principle in whatever project we do. So comes the region of artificial intelligence. To tell you honestly, I hate this word, artificial intelligence. I feel this is assisted intelligence. Unless and until I think some ideas whirlpool in my brain, my colleagues, and we work together, design a protocol, the machine itself does not know it. But nonetheless, this is the most popular terminology across the world today. So let's dare the AI. Let's accept it. Let's take it as a challenge. We will do it. And the next 25-30 minutes, I'm going to talk about the retail pharmacy world and how the AI is going to influence it and what will be your role in it. But as a doctor, as a surgeon for 40 years, I precisely completed 40 years since I started operating on 1st of July 1983 in Mirrors. I feel that in doing all this progress, the humanity should not go for a toss. I've had experiences, Mohan knows about it. When a woman comes to KEM Dean's office and says, "Sir, Mangal Sutra is the only thing remaining now. I can't afford the drugs. Take this, receive my husband." I pick up a phone, talk to Mohan, and I say, "Mohan, I'm sending this lady to you. Help her, but both of us will see to it that her Mangal Sutra remains in the place where it is supposed to be." And this lady, when she goes back after 8 days, comes with her husband, walking with a stick to the dean's office and says, "Sir, thank you very much." That is humanity. So whatever progress we might do, we should never forget that we exist for a common man in the street. Now, if I ask you that all of you are using artificial intelligence, only thing is that we don't think that this is AI. So let me give you some common examples. How many of you are having Apple phones? You know, pharma sector can afford. Ha, barobar hai, actually. i15? Huh? Gulshan, i15? Come on.
Old one, very.
Acha, because otherwise there are crazy guys who keep on changing their Apple iPhones the minute the Apple company puts it on. So the last one is, I think, Apple i15. That's what I heard. So that's okay. What is the software in it? It's called as Siri. And that Siri software, which is within Apple iPhone, is a classic example of artificial intelligence that you and me are having in our hand. Alexa, you know, my grandson, which is the apple of my eyes, actually, is a student in Singhania now, goes in senior nursery now. But when he started standing up, he used to crawl in the hall. There was that Alexa kept there, and he said, "Alexa, Jack and Jill." So a 9 months old who even cannot pronounce Alexa properly is using artificial intelligence. What is Alexa? That is artificial intelligence. Tesla or whatever new car Gulshan might be having, you know, the navigation that you use, and that lady who at times gets to your nerves, "Daye mudiye, daye mudiye." I'm like, "Nahi mudna hai, daye." But she bloody eats your brains out. What is that navigation? It is artificial intelligence. So why these examples? In common life, we are actually using it without understanding it. So in today's talk, with respect to retail pharmacy, let's understand what is artificial intelligence, how does it work, how will it impact my day-to-day performance, and how can I mold it to my benefits and my practical use. So this is a book definition. It's a system. It's a system based in a machine. So it's a machine-based system for a given set of human-defined objectives. We first define what we want out of it. So the objectives are defined. Then the system makes predictions. A option, B option, C option, D option. It evaluates them. Then it makes a recommendation to you. You know, when you are navigating a path and when you give a destination, it says it will take 90 minutes and it adds a sentence, but this is the shortest and the swiftest pathway available to your proposed destination. So it has evaluated the options and then it is making you a recommendation. And this then influences your decision making. This is artificial intelligence. As we all heard, the navigation system. You know, the cars are so beautifully designed now that you sit or you step inside a MG Hector or a MG Gloucester and it says, "Hi Mohan, good morning. Hope you had a good day. even though you might have had the worst possible day, its intelligence is only that, but it will welcome you in the car. Those of you who say, sir, इधर गाड़ी है अभी तक तो उतना नहीं है, टू व्हीलर पे ही चला है, you sometimes call for an Uber auto. And what is that Uber auto? How the Uber auto actually responds to your call? Using artificial intelligence. So what does AI do? Now these are the principles. It collects big data. Now this big word is very important. How big is it? It's gigabytes, several hundred thousands of gigabytes of data. Let's apply it to health sector. You know what is the most important commodity for a hospital? It is the patient records. Now Kaushalya is a paperless hospital. There are no papers. Everything is in a software driven. We see the patients, we write the notes, the follow-up notes, nursing prescriptions, orders given, medicines dispensed, surgical notes, intraoperative photographs, everything is on an iPad. And before I introduced this about 3 years back, believe me, we have hired godowns in Bhiwandi to store the paper records. All that is gone. It's all somewhere in the cloud. And all the fears, what were the fears and resistance by medical profession? Sir, time pe milega nahi. It bloody takes less than half a minute to get a record of a patient who was 3 years back seen, admitted or consulted. That's one. So the space is much less, stored somewhere. So comes the immediate next thing. Sir, secrecy nahi रहेगी, कोई और यूज करेगा. वो कौन यूज करेगा? सर, कोई तो फार्मा यूज करेगी. It's a fact. That is that big data. When you collect it, when you collate it from multiple units, from multiple hospitals, AI intelligence systems collects big data. Then what does it do? It analyzes it. Like suppose Mohan or Gulshan tells you, कि boss, ये अपना पीरियड में अपने पैटर्न्स क्या थे प्रिस्क्रिप्शन के, हैबिट्स क्या थे, कौन सी ड्रग्स फास्ट मूविंग आइटम्स में थी, ये निकालो. व्हाट विल यू डू? यू विल सिट विद द डेटा, यू विल आस्क योर जूनियर टू हेल्प यू आउट, एंड योर माइंड विल गेट ब्लोन आउट. साला इतना सब देखने का. एंड देन यू विल स्टार्ट अप्लाइंग सम एनालिटिकल टूल्स. इट्स लाइक अ सीयू, कि जो एक्चुअली जिसका फायदा है, यूजफुल थिंग्स है, दैट ओनली विल गेट डिस्टिल्ड. दैट इज एनालिसिस ऑफ द डेटा. Then it makes some algorithms. Boss, X होगा तो Y होता है, और Y के बाद में Z निकल के आता है. These are the algorithms. Now, this is the next step in artificial intelligence. Things are not constant. As we said, change is the only constant thing. So similarly, algorithm which has been drawn also cannot remain constant. It also has to evolve, change. So that comes a step of adaptive algorithms. It goes on changing as per the need of the data available and the need of the query that has been floated to you. So then some patterns ubhar ke aate hain. So it studies the patterns. Then it starts making predictions. कि boss, ये patient में ये होने की संभावना है. That is a prediction. Then it makes recommendation that influences your decision making. And the fun of the system is all these things are autonomous. These are the steps of any artificial intelligence system that you have got. Now, what are the skepticism? अपने देश में या कहीं भी criticism come first. Hey boss, it will replace the human beings. मेरा जॉब चला जाएगा. 10 लोगों के जगह एक ही आदमी बैठेगा. ये तो smarter है ये अपने से. It will eliminate the human race and destroy us. One day it will be having a very destructive approach. Now, why do we need it still? These are the points on our side. We as human beings are fallible. We make mistakes. One of the books, as she mentioned, I've written about 53 books in Marathi and English. One of the books is titled as Manus Chuka Ka Karto. Why do mistakes and human err? There are about 14 chapters in that book, and each chapter covers A global incidents like Chernobyl, like the spacecraft getting destructed, like 26 July 2005 rains in Mumbai. And I analyzed that, and you will be surprised to know that every catastrophe had a human element at its base. Sometimes it was envy, sometimes it was competitive getting back or getting against someone, sometimes it was a fixation error, sometimes it was inadequate knowledge, sometimes it is carelessness, and sometimes it is carelessness. So, human error is something that AI takes out. Situational awareness by those adaptive mechanisms. Limits of performance, however good and bright we might be, there will be limited performance. So the decision making will get influenced. We may fall short in communications. Communications to whom? Communication to the patients, communication to the relatives, communication to backward office inside, and finally to the people who make policies of drug making and distribution. And then obviously leadership, motivation, in all these things, AI is required to help us. How do we classify these systems? There is something called as artificial narrow intelligence, ANI. What are the examples? The system is designed and trained to perform a narrow task, a small activity, such as facial recognition. So many offices, when you come, this thing is gone. You just stand in front and the doors open. So that facial recognition, or driving a car. Most of these modern cars, in a tight space, you put it in a reverse gear and tell them to the car reverse parks itself wonderfully. That's a narrow space intelligence artificial. Playing a chase with you, and even traffic signals. These are the examples of a narrow system. This is already in existence and put into practice. Now comes the next level. That is human level. It can simplify human intellectual abilities. Due to this, when it is exposed to an unfamiliar task, it can find the solution and it can perform all the things as a human does. At some levels in the scientific arena, this has been started. And the third is a super intelligence, like in NASA or other things. It's a brain power which more than active smart humans in drawing, mathematics, and space technology. What are the types of this technology? One is a reactive machine. The IBM chess program, as you say. Limited memory, like autonomous vehicles. If you change a lane, the car draws itself back into the proper lane. But the third and fourth are not yet in existence when the machine will apply theory of mind. And the fourth level, when the machine will have its own self level of awareness. And then if you try to change, a human being trying to change it, it will deny that. These 3 and 4 are yet non-existing, but things will evolve. Now let's keep this aside and let's look at retail pharmacy. I had given a lecture in our hotel about 7-8 months back when I had said the role of pharmacist, the role of all of you is evolving. You are no more Sahab Neeli Pili or Kali Goli Dena. No, this is gone. You are an ambassador of the healthcare messages at the final end where you will interact with the client. That is your role. So human communication, humble counseling, ensuring the compliance. This is the most important role that I expect of you. Monitoring the drug consumption behavior. ये 2 नंबर के लेन में रहने वाला चाचा कौन सी ड्रग्स क्या फ्रीक्वेंसी में लेता है, दैट इज हिज कंजम्पशन एंड बाइंग बिहेवियर. नोटिंग द साइड इफेक्ट, साहब वो पीली गोली खाने के बाद मुझे खुजवा होने लगी. He will talk to you, noting those side effects. Considering then the alternatives. Pharma molecule वही है, शायद ये देके देखूं, that will be beneficial to him. Then on a larger scale, assessing the community needs. And if you remember, one of my slides I had put it up in that talk was the role that should emerge in India is of a community pharmacist. assessing the community needs, and thereby influencing people who make the policy decisions of drug sciences. Can AI help you as pharmacist? Yes. You can rely on AI to make well-informed decisions and prevent medication errors. There is no denial that medication errors do happen. They happen at the level of doctors. They happen by irrational drug combinations, side effects, giving at times prescribing drugs which are not allowed in that particular age and weight group, or and some similarity in the names by two pharmaceuticals that all of us have gone through. So AI can help you in making decisions. It can also help clinical pharmacy in drug therapy optimization. I happened to go through, when I was preparing this talk, I happened to go through the pharmacy retail market of India 2018 to 2023 report. This is the latest report of last 5 years. And just look at the important markers that this report highlights. It says healthcare is rapidly shifting to convenient and accessible retail healthcare locations, and pharmacies are at the forefront of the transformation. I think this sentence should make all of you happy. We never thought of drugs being given on a petrol pump, but that's a reality today. We never thought of drugs, common drugs being sold at grocers, but that's a reality today. So something that is convenient and accessible, and you are at the forefront, and it puts the next important word, the pharmacy practice model is evolving to be more service oriented. It's a service sector now, and that is the most important change. So pharmacists are now taking over of a mid-level provider role on the healthcare team. I cannot put a medical professional in every nook and corner. When the COVID was on, the Maharashtra Pharmacist Association requested for a talk. And then there was a cross-sectional dialogue. And I said that in the world over, various healthcare professionals, and that included physiotherapists, occupational therapists, pharmacists, lab technicians, being roped in to give the much needed health care. Why? Because the doctors were less in number and supplies. And therefore, pharmacists are now taking over the mid-level provider role on the healthcare platform. Now, this is the most beloved slide of mine because this is India. This is India. I worked in Mumbai for 40 years, but since 2012, after I left corporation, on every Sunday, I go and operate small children completely free in various districts, sub-district places of Maharashtra. So I end up operating at Shahapur, Alibag, Panvel, Kudal, Vada Mokhada, Ratnagiri, and at times Ulhasnagar and few other invitations. Now we have teams. And on average, in 1 year, I end up doing about 700 to 1,000 operations on Sundays, completely free. So I believe in one sentence. In Marathi, let me tell you, a few years back, when I was the Dean of KM, there was a conclave held like this in Marriott. And all, Vocard, at that time it was Vocard and Fortis and Hinduja, and everybody was trying to tell ki, our packages are very economical. A middle-level person's pocket is not taxed too much because of that. When my turn came, I said, I represent that class of society who does not have pocket to his shirt at all. But in the last 10 years, dear friends, having worked at tribal levels, who come to you only with a loincloth, nothing on their body, and you operate them, I want to redesign my sentence. And I say, I am a healthcare activist and surgeon and representative for that class of society which does not have a shirt at all. That's a reality of life. That's the reality depicted here. This is a common picture at a taluka, at a sub-taluka place, where the Abba goes and asks, पेट खराब हुआ है साहब गुलगी देना. Then you have to do all the possible role of diagnosis, evaluation, assessing his age, possible toxic effects that it will have, and you are prescribing. So you are that middle level healthcare manager for him, and it's a community practice. And don't think that this is required or happening in India. Last time in my last lecture, I had a slide that there is an American experiment done in a place called Rockfield, if I'm not forgetting something. That article is still there, where community practice role was put into action. And look into our country, tuberculosis, filariasis, ORS depletion, so many indications we will find. How could we control COVID? We could have drones to dispense the drugs and vaccines, but we needed people to put behind and approach right that corner house in the last Wada or Mokhada that we had. That is community pharmacy role, where we can put AI into action. Last few years have seen this, that even a chacha in a village will have a credit or a debit card, which is a chip enabled. Now, practically a machiwali and even a raddiwala and nimbuwala will also sit with a QR code. I picked up a slide. I thought it's not appropriate, so I deleted that. But believe me, if you Google, in Bihar, outside a temple sits a beggar with a QR code in his neck. And he says, आपके पास चेंज नहीं है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर. मैं चेंज हो गया. नहीं, मैं चेंज हो गया हूं और आप QR कोड यूज करें. And this is a reality. So this has to be kept in mind when we evolve our practices, because empowering the deprived ones is something that is required in the health sector. Compliance options is an issue. That's a universal issue, not only for villages, not only for those who don't have money, but even for those who have everything in life and next door staying in a mansion also. नाही, थोडं बरं वाटल्यावरती मी बंद केलं. अरे कोण सांगितलं तुला? Compliance issue. So all these things, options and compliance and non-adherence can be studied using AI at your level of retail distribution. They'll say, sir, hospital मध्ये काय फरक पडतो? And I'll give you a practical example. This is Ushakal Abhinav Institute of Medical Sciences, of which I am a founder and director. Wellness is our partner. We have a beautiful pharmacy. Those of you who have visited Sangli, it's Kavaljit's making, and I'm so proud of that. But Kavaljit, my last month's meeting revealed certain things, which I immediately communicated to Mohan. And what were the complaints? साहब काउंटर पे बहुत खड़ा रहना पड़ता है. एक, साहब बिलिंग में बहुत इश्यूज आ रहे हैं. साहब डबल प्रिंटिंग होता है. साहब पानी की बॉटल मांगी तो भी 15 मिनट लगता है. साहब फाइनली हमने छोड़ दिया और हमने बाहर से जाके दवा ले ली. Don't feel that I'm blaming wellness. It's my own baby with this hospital. These are the facts of life. This happen everywhere. In Kaushalya, I have Noble. And I talk to Ramesh Bhai every day for these things. What does the man standing on the other side of the counter expect from you? कि एक तो आप वो डॉक्टर का प्रिस्क्रिप्शन इंटरप्रेट कर पाओगे जो बाकी लोगों को आता नहीं है. वो दैट्स अ स्पेशल स्किल गिफ्टेड बाय द गॉड टू यू ऑल. बट अभी क्या है, पेपरलेस हॉस्पिटल है तो वो डायरेक्टली स्क्रीन पे ही आ जाता है क्या दिया है. सो द पर्सन एक्सपेक्ट्स कि डॉक्टर साहब ने जो लिखा है वही आप दे दो. पॉइंट नंबर 1. दूसरी बात, जो आप देते हो ना तो आप एक्सप्लेन करो. दिस इज समथिंग विच इज रिक्वायर्ड. आप बताओ यार, आप बोलो कि साहब ये जो गोली है ना, ये आपको सुबह में लेनी है, ये आपको शाम में लेनी है. यू नो, I was a registrar. I'm talking of 1987 in KEM. And we had a great fun. We had lovely bhaiya patients. Don't mind anything. It's a common fun to all of us, you know. तो भैया जी आए, साहब ये गोली कब लेने का? भैया ये गोली सुबह और दोपहर में लेने का। अच्छा जी, भैया जी विल गो कम बैक। साहब खाना खाने के पहले लेने का कि बादन लेने का? भैया जी खाना खाने के बादन लेने का। साहब पानी उबाल के लेने का कि ठंडा लेने का? भैया कैसा भी ले लो, पानी के साथ ले लो। साहब मैं लेने का या लुगाई को देने का? Now, why this happens? Because it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Bhaias are the most talented community. You know, they will explain you how to do the business. I have great regards and respect for them. We fail. We fail in communicating. The minute we feel that top level doctors and इसको क्या समझता है, वो पेशेंट बोलता है अभी तो नहीं समझ रहा, 3 महीने बाद कोर्ट में समझ जाता हूँ. So spend time. When you hand over a packet, please spend time explaining कि ये क्या है, किस चीज के लिए है और किसके साथ लेना है. Then there are billing errors. Now, why do the billing errors happen? Incorrect codes. Posting गलत हुआ है. Commonest thing in hospital pharmacy. Lack of monitoring. देखा नहीं है किसी ने. Third thing, not following professional mandates given, standards given. And fourth, inconsistency in the use of billing authorities. But how it influences the hospital? Billing के जो problems है, they eventually reflect into the reimbursement. See, in Sangli today, about 80% business is cash. 15-20 is insurance. In Mumbai, in Kaushalya, 90% business is insurance. Just 10% is remaining with the out of cash expenses. Now, when you have a third party which is going to assess your billing with a hawk's eye, you should not make mistake. And there, AI will help you in making hospital-based pharmacy more effective and efficient. So in the retail sector, where all AI can help you, customized customer experiences. Then you can have robotic personal assistants that he will go get it from the proper place of the cupboard and come back to you. Demand forecasting, that ये महीने में ये सेक्टर से ये डिमांड आने वाली है. Come monsoon seasons and we are going to need Ciplox, Metrogyl, all various things. So demand forecasting, merchandising planning, automated inventory management. See, today we have a sprawling Bhiwandi where we are storing it. 10 years down the line, maybe we will not need it. We will need it just half the size of that or a quarter size of that because the inventory will be controlled with the help of AI. Sensors that track the customer traffic, electronic shelf labels adapts to the audience. This is something which we must immediately adopt to, and gathering and transforming huge volume of raw data, which is so valuable. What are the examples here? Drug shortage management. What best period? We have all just gone through COVID. So tocilizumab or remdesivir not being made available. We could have anticipated. We could have seen what the demand is coming up. Detection of certain conditions to predict adverse drug events. You are the best person. Sahib, हे pharmaceuticals, हे product दिल्यावर problems येतात. That is the first pattern recognition. Prediction of drug levels based on patient characteristics, and then identification of clinically beneficial pharmaceutical molecules. How will it influence the pharma industry on a larger scale? You know, if I ask you, what is the time and money required for a new drug to come in market? Any idea? Time and money. Minimum 20 years and minimum $10 billion, $2 to $10 billion. But you put AI behind, and AI analyzes the protein molecule chains. And then it guides you that probably these protein molecules are helpful. So there is a speculation that that 10-year period for a drug discovery will drop down to about 3 years. And one of the examples of this was the vaccines that we made at the time of COVID, when this particular thing was applied. How will it help you as a young pharmacist understanding, analyzing, computing, calculating, and predicting? All these things it will do. Now comes the risk. साला मेरा जॉब रहेगा कि जाएगा? ये इतना सर बोल रहे, ये लोगों ने दिल पे लिया, तो दिल पे मत लो हाँ गुलशन, हाँ दिल पे लिया और बोला कि साला 30 का लोग है, उसमें ही कन्वर्ट कर देंगे, तो मेरा जॉब रहेगा या जाएगा? So can AI cover pharmacist? So like other healthcare providers, artificial intelligence has the potential to make the jobs easier and better by automating administrative tasks and augmenting the patient care process. But one thing I must tell you, it is up to us to remain updated. मैं BBS 1983 में पास हो गया, MS 86 में पास हो गया, MCH 88 में पास हो गया, DNB 89 में पास हो गया, and then I acquired 17 postgraduate qualifications subsequently. But I think I learn every day on the chair. I have learned administration more than my college degrees on the chair of Nair Hospital and KEM Hospital and D.Y. Patil and Prince Ali. It teaches you. Even today, if I have to operate something which I am not a matter of routine surgery, which happens to me, on the earlier night, I go back to YouTube, I open the books and I refresh myself. If you get into a habit of refreshing yourself on a day-to-day basis, dear friends, no AI can ever replace you. You have to make efforts to step 2 steps ahead of it. If हम लोग बोले कि नहीं यार पढ़ा था, B.Pharm किया तभी नहीं, I think that's all gone. What probably you all learned in your B.Pharm or D.Pharm is not the way that you are practicing pharmacy today. Things have changed. So that is why this care is for those who don't want to change. Otherwise, AI will not steal your job. The job may evolve. Its nature may differ, but you have to get adjusted to that. In inventory management for a retail pharmacist, AI will be a huge boon, and it will augment the speed, it will reduce the inventory, and therefore the capital expense or the OPEX that is getting parked there will get less and less. These are practical examples. Wellness Forever is already with Blue Yonder, and Blue Yonder is a AI firm that is with Otto. Otto is one of the largest German chains. So Otto invited Blue Yonder, and I think we have been intelligent enough to involve them into our group. Another example, Walgreen Pharmacy, one of the most reputed international pharmacies. What they have done? They are with Medline. Medline is an AI system, partnership with Medline, and that changed these particular things. Let me give you one more example, and that is what happens by chatbot. ChatGPT or chatbot. This is something which is for all the youngsters to know. And the minute you go into a new thing, some comes, "Hi, I'm Mary, how can I help you?" Whether she really helps or not is a different issue. But you can engage yourself in a non-human interaction of thoughts as well as voice, and retail pharmacy finds its applications in chatbots. And you can imagine the questions. ये कौन सी दवा है? ये दवा आपकी इधर अवेलेबल है क्या? इसकी क्या प्राइस है? And how best I can get it? कोई schemes है क्या? These are the very standard questions which will come in a consumer's mind. And why do you want to waste your active time in answering them? Have a chatbot or have a chat GPT answering these common questions. So chatbots can be used to increase the efficiency of the service industry. They are capable of mimicking the interactions between customers and customer care services. And they are capable of automatically resolving customer complaints and queries, because you can predict the customer's complaints and requirements there. Now, this comes from San Francisco Medical Center. Look at the pharmacy. Look at what Kavaljit has set up, except this. There is no human interaction to go and pick up the drug. It will be picked up by a robot. It will be then packed. 12 hourly patients' requirements are tabulated, and then they are moved into the concerned ward by a robotic driven van. So it becomes a completely human touchless activity. In the YouTubes, there's a wonderful YouTube which all of you should see, and that is titled as Future Hospitals. How tomorrow's hospitals will be. Whatever we are making today, we are still making age-old concepts because we are not taking that random step of technology being put into practice. But you should see the future hospitals. It's a wonderful 2 minute 45 seconds YouTube over there, where you won't feel that this is a hospital at all. This is like a hotel or a cafeteria or a recreation center, or the appropriate word used in the YouTube is wellness center. So you must visit this YouTube, and then you will get how everything will be a pad driven, phone driven, and things like that. So now let me show you a video clip of 4 minutes. Chemotherapy is a very important thing. It's expensive. It is dose regulated. Now it is patient specific. Two patients may be having CA breast, but this one gets different drugs. This one gets different drugs. So it's a patient specific thing now that is being followed. So there is a system employed by Cairo where everything, right from picking up off the shelf, mixing the drug, forming an infusion, putting labels, and handing it over for patients is done by artificial intelligence. Let's look at the next slide. काय रे बाबा, चालतं का नाही? Okay. Just see for 4 minutes. and the system is ready for the next one. To believe this, I had seen this 4 years back, 4 years ago in Dubai, in Health Expo that happens. Don't feel that this is for West, this will not come to India. This will come. If laparoscopy could come, if robotics could come, and then we can swipe them out, this is not going to be impossible. So, therefore, I have a very standard. You wanted a one liner. This is my most favorite one liner. Future is yesterday. It has already happened. I'm in slumber. And I'll give you examples. Handheld diagnostic devices. Gone are the days in 1988 when I used to draw 2 ml of blood from a newborn, send it to the lab, wait for something, drive Sakharam down to get the report of arterial blood gases to find an acidosis to give the right dose of soda mica. Gone. One drop of heel prick on the cartridge, and by the side of the baby, within 20 seconds, I get his ABG report. Handheld devices became a reality. Remote control diagnostics and therapeutics, in surgery, the way it has become a joystick application to do a complex procedure. So robotic applications. Today, if you see at Thane and Pune, knee replacement has virtually become only robotic. Those who don't do robotic are out. So that is the role robotics are going to play in the next few years to come. Portability, portable ultrasound, a handheld device of an ultrasound of the size of your mobile phone. When I was in Fortis admitted and I was on a ventilator in my COVID phase, Dr. Rahul Pandit, who was then the director of intensive care Fortis, used to come and do my ultrasound of my lungs to find out the pulmonary streaking almost on a day-to-day basis. In our country, we have not yet been able to allow it because of PCPNDT business. But a handheld ultrasound device, a handheld Doppler is already there. Probably you don't have a portable CT and any, but even that will happen in next future to come. So the key word is patient proximity. The best place for a patient to be in is his own home, whether it is hut or Antilia, whatever you may decide. But that's the best place where he should be. And if that is the best place, we should take the diagnostics, we should take the therapeutics, and we should take the drug dispensing proximate to the patient. But comes my last part. I had said, dare the AI, which we have done, but care for humanity. Because all these things, we must protect the human autonomy, promote the human interests. We should be transparent and explainability to the relatives, fostering accountability, ensuring inclusiveness, not for few people, but for masses. And then we must find out sustainable solutions. I started with wonders and wisdom. In medicine, one-line wonders or one-time wonders cannot really sustain. But wise things, the minute you employ wisdom to that intelligence, then it becomes a sustainable solution. So again, the question in the minds of many of you is that famous Augustine Rodin thinker, will AI replace me? The answer lies with you. And the answer lies in answering a question, who is taming whom? Kisne kiske gale mein patta bandha hai? That is the most important point. Let me give you a parallel example now. कुछ साल पहले we used to remember 6-digit telephone numbers of the office, of the home, of the wife, if not of the wife, of the girlfriend, definitely. Aj, it is at times difficult for me to remember and reproduce my own phone number, forget the girlfriend. You know, why? Because I have loaned my memory to this. कौन याद रखेगा? Contact की list है ना अपनी. So that is what I have outsourced my memory. So a smart thing to do here is you use to boost your recall memory. But don't disturb the recall memory that you always have, that God has given you, that you have acquired in the process of evolution, which you learned in the fifth standard. So, therefore, in the summary at wellness, and this came from a TED talk given by Gulshan. We believe in giving 110% by using our next generation data architecture. We help individuals virtually manage agile workflows. That is what you all are. We thrive because of our market knowledge and great team behind our product. And as our directors say, efficiencies will come from proactively transforming how we do the business. Is a very pet word and phrase of Gulshan, aspirational purchase. And I like that. So I've said, let the aspirations soar. So, dear friends, you have Apple, you have Alexa, you have Amazon, you have artificial intelligence, and you have aerospace drones to distribute. But let your heart beat for the common man in the street. Thank you.
Hansraj, he's a kid, and the other, they're playing cricket, and he hits a ball. And then there's a dialogue that comes from and he joined preventive medicine, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it, I'm very honest. And I was wrong. And I am saying this, that I was wrong. He had the right approach. Probably he didn't have a surgical aptitude, but he had an attitude towards what's going to change. So after his MD in community medicine, he did fellowship and 5 years of work as resident, then staff in Tata Hospital, and he chose a branch of preventing oncology as his career. Today, he's in a number 3 position in the Department of Preventive Oncology of Tata Technology. He is in charge of National Hospital-Based Tumor Registry. All the data from India, from the hospital tumors, comes to these, and he applies AI tools to project. He's a blue-eyed boy of Budway, who is the director, and they are working on CA gallbladder and CA breast and CA cervix. And on top of that, because I sat on his head, he completed his MBA. So, on the dining table, he tells me, Baba, gallbladder malignancy, these are the probable risk factors we are doing. This is the kind of populace which is more seriously at risk of developing a malignancy, and probably these are the things which are going to work. He is studying the patterns and making predictions. And tomorrow's healthcare is going to depend on prevention rather than actual curativity. And that is that concept of future hospital of wellness. So I'm proud of it.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Please.
It's a very personal side which I want to understand. Whenever I see very high achievers and people who have accomplished so much in life, I generally try to understand what is the pattern of life they follow, or what is the routine they follow, because I personally feel it is routine which is the benchmark of any discipline action. I would just like to understand, having a surgery done at 7 a.m. in the morning and then you come in for a lecture here requires unbelievable level of energy, and touch wood, the way you have gone through this. I would just like to understand how your day actually unfold. Your,
Every man should have a wife and a fiancé. Surgery is my fiancé, and laparoscopy is my super fiancé. I'll explain that. It goes back, I think, in my years of making, to tell you very honest. We came from an ordinary middle class family, father a government officer, who had only one dream in his life, and that dream was he wanted to be a doctor. He could not, because he could not afford it. So his only other dream was he begets a son who becomes a doctor, and a step beyond, who becomes a surgeon. So on the day when I was born in 1959, he bought a book from the footpaths of Churchgate, the book Bahar Baithte. The book is, it's still with us. It's called as Surgery. It's basically FAQs about surgery in 1950s. But handwriting wrote on it for Sanjay. One day when he becomes. After my MBBS, because I had school first in the university and I was studying MBBS medicine. I wanted to do biology, really strong. My father said, that will be surgery. So I had no choice to fulfill his dream. And no one knows this because no one has interacted with my father before he passed away. So I did surgery. After that, when this point came of, you need good mentors in your life. And that is what Mrs. Deshmukh was. Her life was an open direction navigation to me. That you do surgery, you do good surgery, then you take health administration. Because being a good surgeon, you can operate 7 or 8 cases in a day at the peak. If you are a good administrator, you can streamline 35 departments who can do good work. So I followed her footsteps in every walk of life, becoming director, dean, vice chancellor, whatever. Madam had stopped operating. Madam used to consult. Madam used to guide us. But that is something which I said, this is a thing that I will do different from. And why? Because here was my father, 80 years, in our KM Dean's bungalow. He never bothered to ask me what decisions I have made. How was the meeting with commissioner? Never. But every night he asked me one question. What operation you have done today? And this continued till the day he died. On the day when he died, at 7 o'clock, he was sitting in the bed. Last 6 months he could not get up. sitting in his bed, brushing his teeth, and I was getting ready to go to KEM. I was an honorary surgeon at KEM at that time. I was the BC of DY party. So I told my father, Papa, 6 महिन्याचं बाळ आहे, माल रोटेशन करायला जातोय, जाऊ ना? This is the last hand that I have seen. I finished the surgery and was putting on final sutures when the phone call came from my mother. That he's no more, please come back, don't go to university. So with that kind of background and commitment, whichever selection interviews that happened, whether it was MPSC, whether it was commissioner, whether it was governor for university, they all asked me, what will happen to your surgery? And my standard answer is, I was not born surgeon, but I will die as a surgeon.
क्या बात है?
So, surgery comes really as distressing. DESTRESS, not DISTRESS. Administration is distress. Surgery is de-stress.
Thank you very much.
वो एक भी संडे है ना, कभी एक हर संडे कोई ना कोई कैंप के अंदर ऑपरेट इनका एक ही हॉलीडे नहीं रहता है। वीक का हम लोग बोलते हैं ना 5 days होना चाहिए, 4 days होना चाहिए, या एक संडे तो होना
4 day
एक संडे तो होना चाहिए। उनके लिए लाइफ में एक भी संडे में हर संडे या तो कोई कैंप रहेगा या तो
स्टैंडर्ड स्टेटमेंट है मेरे रेसिडेंट्स के लिए। देयर आर 16 रेसिडेंट्स इन साइन अंडर मी। काम करके कोई मरा हुआ अब तक मैंने नहीं देखा। क्या बात है? छुट्टी लेनी है, कुछ वैलिड रीजन है, फॉरगेट लीव एप्लीकेशन एंड एवरीथिंग। जा 2 दिन मजा करो, जा फ्रेश होके वापस आ जाओ। मेरा फ्रेशनेस इधर है, तेरा शायद कश्मीर में होगा। So one of the books that I've written, I was very close to Jagjit Singh when he was alive. We used to walk together. Ghazals is my peacock. So after his death, which was very untimely, I've written a book. I've written 2 books on him. One is Hoshawalo. The book is called as Hoshawalo. And the second book is called as Nasheman. So how this Nasheman came. It came from Gulzar. So when I had gone to Gulzar's place for the interview, he said, I was deciding the name Jagjit or me. So he said, नहीं यार इसका नाम नशेमन रखो। ये नशेमन क्या है? मुझे तो कुछ मालूम नहीं। I got this name for the first time in 1975 when Andi was released. इस मोड़ से जाते हैं नशेमन तक। नशेमन is a nest or a घोंसला. It is in the heart of everybody. It is a place where no one else can go, but you yourself can go for unwinding yourself. So everyone's Nashaman is different. It can be ghazals, it can be dance, it can be music, it can be excursions outside, it can be nature's trail. For me, it is surgery.
I don't want to miss this lifetime opportunity. On a personal front, question or query. My son just cleared his NEET exams and has secured the mark that he would get into not a premium one, but the GMC Maharashtra. My elder daughter is an engineer in Germany and doing masters. I am a non-medical. I am a supply chain professional. So now he is opting for this faculty as his own choice. Being as a father, I am not sure that what you would be kind of a piece of advice for me.
You are a supply chain executive. Your job is to supply what the chain is demanding. Just a few advices, my personal advices to your son. You are entering a profession where you will get phenomenal opportunities to work. You may not get returns in terms of cash and money immediately. An engineer, your daughter, who is in Germany or overseas, must be earning in Jewish pounds and dollars and things like that. इसको शायद इतने पैसे मिलेंगे जो वो एक दिन में कमाती हो. इसकी सैलरी हर महीने की आखिर में इतनी होगी जो वो एक दिन में कमाएगी. बट इसको जो पुण्य मिलेगा, आज मेरे पास कल परसों एक लेडी आई 32 years with her mother-in-law. Said, sir, I want to become pregnant and I want to take your advice. I said, why? So she said, sir, when I was 6 days old in 1992, you had operated me in Pharma Hospital. Today I'm 32 years old. And did that surgery have any influence on that? So she said, sir, I have found out from Google and from everywhere and it's come to you and I feel better today. ये जो better feeling है ना डॉक्टर को, ये इंजीनियर को चाहिए. मशीन नहीं. Certain difference between engineering branch and medicine. In medicine, there is never a retirement. When I took premature retirement from KM Hospital, I could have become dean for 14 more years. And everyone was crying. You can ask them. Yes. Everyone crying. That sir, क्या करें? क्यों चाह? Even the commissioner and Nagar Sevaks said, sir, क्या कर रहे हो? I said, no, I have played my innings. I must move ahead in my life. And that's exactly what I did. Today also when I go to KM, people will come running, sir, sir. But there is no retirement. When I got bad COVID and when I was on a ventilator, after that I stepped down from the post of CEO and I said, now I'm going a little slow. That happened 4 years back. To tell you honestly and humbly, I think I have duplicated my work than what I used to do as a CEO. So, engineer के बारे में क्या होता है? After 38, 40, नया बंदा कोई 22-23 का जो रहता है ना, और prefers that. Young blood, your technology, and then if you are not up to the mark and on your toes, you are likely to be, भैया आप थोड़ा पीछे देखो. ये डॉक्टर के बारे में नहीं होता. It's like a pickle. He marinates more and more. And the last piece of advice: should a doctor drive Mercedes Benz or Bugatti or whatever your son wants? They all have aspirations, aspirational purchases. Yes, by all means. But there are things in life who are not to be bought when you are 27 or 28 years old, but which are to be acquired when you become 52 or 50. And you are to tell your son, you will get all these worldly belongings that you are aspiring today when you are approaching that age. Be patient and work. And by all means, let him go. Let him spread his wings. Give air under his wings.
Do we have any more questions? So I think, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you for putting us to that space where we need to explore more and explore our thoughts more, especially with Dare the AI and Dare the Humanity. I think our pharmacists sitting here have also got a very good perspective, and I'm sure there are questions brewing in their mind. But as and when it does, we definitely write to you and you have an opportunity to maybe have another session with you in future. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Now, I would just like to call our respective directors to please felicitate Doctor for his time, effort, and also help us with this. Thank you. So please.
Sir, feeling honored today and work with you. शाल मी नेहमी नेतो. वर्षभरात 50-60 जमतात. दिवाळीच्या भाऊबीजेच्या दिवशी सायनला एक महिला श्रम त्यांच्याकडे जाऊन द्यायचा. तिथे जवळजवळ 210-220 महिला मुली एक दिवसाच्या बारापासून मॅरेजमध्ये पर्यंत असतात. सो दे कॅन चेरिश. आणि हा जो नारळ आहे हा मी आपली कोऑर्डिनेटर हा नारळाच्या वड्या कसा आल्या तर बघ.
वड्या केल्याच्यावर पर्याय नाही.
It's a very small kid of wellness for everything. Special.
Something which I love. So whenever my yesterday saw that the perfume is getting over more like full marana bhai. So thank you, friends. No, I believe all of us enjoyed as much as I did. And today is a founding day, a first talk, and we could have not had anything better than this. And the next talk is going to be in September. The dates will be finalized because the very honorable speaker, we have shared few dates. And but I feel very happy today to inform you it will be done by none other than the renowned diabetologist and a person par excellence, Dr. Shashank Joshi, who has very kindly consented and will come up with another thought which will make life unlimited and would force us to come out of sometimes a limited kind of perspective we have about life. So thank you very much for spending your time.
Yeah, we can do that. Sir,
Sure.
can I also request our leadership team as well to answer to the session?
What?
Thank you.
Hello?
Can I also please request our leadership team to please
मागे जायला लागेल.
डॉक्टर आहे टेक्नॉलॉजी सर्जरी घेते.
मी तुला सांगतो मागे जाऊन खुर्चीवर उभा राहा.